What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, guys. I know it's been a while. It's been almost 2 months since you guys saw my last video. Took a little bit of a break after the NBA season, but if you've been following me on Twitter, I have been tweeting about my PGA picks the past month and a half, and they've been fantastic. Absolutely unreal, as you can see right here. Past 5 weeks, picked a winner twice. Also bet on Finau's second win going into the weekend. 23 out of 28 of my picks have made the cut. 20 out of those 23 have done tied 30 or better, and then 12 out of those 23 have done tied 10 or better. So fantastic picks, obviously all free, really helping out the community and you guys. My advice for these picks is to either bet them top 10 or to win, or just throw them in the DraftKings player pool, depending on how you play. If you're a better or just kind of DFS guy, but they've been fantastic. So follow me there at Hard DFS. Throw this video a like, subscribe. I will be having all my content out for the NFL season. So pretty much every slate I'll be doing some breakdowns. I'll in the future, I want to do some live YouTube streams of, just breaking down the slate before they happen. So throw a like, comment if you guys want that to happen, because I really want to start doing some new creative stuff in this space through the NFL season, going into the NBA season. So be prepared. A lot of good content covering all NFL, the rest of the PGA, even though there's only two weeks left, and then into the NBA season. So tons of good stuff for you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe. Do appreciate all the support. And for today's video, we are doing the picks for tomorrow's BMW Championship, the second to last tournament of the PGA season before the finals, East Lake. And as you can see, as I said, for my picks, they've been fantastic. But going off of last week, went off, Scottie, Rahm, Morikawa. Going back to the well with kind of most of these guys, I really like them in this spot. What we need to know about Wilmington is it's a course they've never played before. It's decently long, but as we all know, they're PGA players. The course being long really doesn't affect them. The rough will be very thick, so if spraying the driver is not really something you want, but at the same time, they can really handle the rough. It's not going to really grab the club. It's pretty predictable on where it will come out. So although the rough is in play this week for sure, and it's kind of long, the course as well as the rough, these guys should be able to kind of get to probably close to 20 under to win this tournament. So expect a lot of good golf, a lot of good players to be playing well. And I think the main thing is you want people that are good putters, because these greens are huge. So you want to really limit the 3 putts. 1 putts would be fantastic. So you really want those kind of people that are going to throw it in the fairway and then have that great approach. Good solid putters. Obviously hard to come by when you try to find all 3 of those on a given week, but I think we're going to do it today with these picks. So going into the picks, I have Rahm, Scheffler, Morikawa, Spieth, and Theegala. Rahm is going to be probably the most popular player on this slate. Snuck in there for a tie 5. Kind of annoying because I wanted Rahm to kind of do bad, which kind of doesn't make sense, but I want him to do bad at the FedEx St. Jude just so he can come in at lower ownership into this BMW Championship. Fortunately, he did well over the weekend, 67 and 66, snuck into a top 5, 11 overall. Now he's going to be probably the most popular golfer on the slate. Shout out to Rick Rungood as well. This is Rick's site. I'm using all his statistics, so make sure to throw him a follow on Twitter. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's literally the GOAT of PGA DFS. I'm not getting paid to say this. His website is literally the best website I've ever seen and used. He does all this stuff for free on his channel, on his Twitter. Make sure to follow him there. Shout out Rick. He's the best. Once again, not getting paid to say this. I wish I was, because he's literally the GOAT. I'd send everyone his way if I could. So if you do, just say Hard DFS sent you. But yeah, let's pull up Rahm. First pick. As you can see, last week at the FedEx St. Jude, tied 5th. Off the tee, we all know, if you don't follow golf, Rahm is great off the tee. Really excels there. He can really hit it far, and he's usually pretty accurate, and he's a great ball striker. What really gets him is the putting. As you can see, he kind of lost barely, almost even with the putter. Got you top 5. The last time we saw him was the Open Championship, tied 34. Obviously great off the tee. Approach, not the best. Around the green, but he lost almost 2 strokes to the field with the putter. Really killed him there at the Open. You really had to be a good putter. Obviously, he's wasn't, and that's what killed him. And that's kind of what happens with Rahm. Kind of the same thing with JT, Morikawa. These guys are great off the tee. They're great iron players, but it just comes down to them being able to hit putts. As we can see, Rahm, he's one of those guys that can get really hot. One of the best players in the world. We really haven't seen it this season, but I really like where his game's heading. Back in June, top 10, top 12, and then he kind of goes out there in July, a few weeks off, gets to top 55, doesn't play well off the tee, doesn't putt well, top 34 at the Open, great off the tee, not a great putter there. We know that really affects Rahm, those undulations, to be a fantastic putter to win the Open. That's why we saw Cam Smith win it. I also called that. He's in my player pool. And then the FedEx St. Jude's, top 5, and he was great off the tee. He's a great ball striker, as we saw, and he just couldn't putt, so that really kind of affected him. There's just, when you watch Rahm, he's just missing so many, makeable putts, barely by like inches or rimming out. And I just really like Rahm this week. His game is in form. As you can see, he's great off the tee, was last week. Approach great. His ball striking was fantastic. The putter is even, and he still got you a top 5. If he can get hot with the putter, as you can see at the U.S. Open, gained almost 3.5 strokes on the field with putter. Before that, the Memorial almost gained 5.6 strokes on the field. Those are top 12 and a top 10, and that's with him losing strokes off the tee at the Memorial. At the U.S. Open, he just didn't have enough juice, but he kind of had all there. His game looked great. And I kind of expect Rahm to kind of go into this weekend. He's going to be the highest owned, but I really like him in this spot, coming off a solid week. Next play is Scottie Scheffler. If we pull up Scottie, Scottie. He got cut. He was in my player pool last week. Really liked him. He's been fantastic all year. The number one golfer has won 1, 2, 3, 4 times in 2022. Absolutely unreal, exploded on the scene. And he had his worst round of his career. I think it was on Friday. Where do I go to pull it up? I won't pull it up. But wait, I think I can. 1 second. All right, never mind. Anyways, back to Scottie. As we know, he's been fantastic this year. But the past month, his ownership has been down, and for good reason. At the Scottish Open, he's coming off a tied, second at the U.S. Open, tied 13th at the Travelers. Then he gets cut overseas. You could say, oh, well, traveling overseas sometimes affects these players. They're not used to it. Nice to see him bounce back a little bit at the Open. Tied 21st place. Good off the tee. His approach is there. His ball striking is great, but he couldn't putt. He's almost losing, 2 strokes to the field with the putter. Sometimes he can get iffy with the putter. He's been, great this year. Been getting, only a few strokes on the field with his putter and still winning. It's just because he's a fantastic player with the irons and around the green, and he's really good off the tee. So he's just been fantastic this year, as we know. But the putter is the one that's, kind of like the Rahms, JT's, the suspect is the putter. And as you can see, the past 3 tournaments, not been great with the putter. Almost 1.3 strokes in the field at the Genesis, obviously missed it. At the Open, he got a top 21, and he was losing still 1.2 strokes to the field with the putter. And then last week, obviously one of the best or the worst rounds of his career on Thursday. Most of the day, he was at 3 over, and it looked like he was probably going to get to like 8 over. He's playing terrible. Kind of reeled it in. I think he got to 1 over, and then I think he finished at 1 under. So he just couldn't do enough on Friday to make the cut. Lost almost 4 strokes on the field with the putter. Putter was not there. He's visibly frustrated, but I like going back to the well here. As we can see on Rick's cheat sheet, Scottie's projected ownership is probably closer to 15%. I'd say it might be coming in at 20. I think people might hop back on him. I'm not sure. It is kind of scary going to him when he's, missed or lost multiple strokes on the field with the putter the past 3 tournaments, with 2 of those being a cut. But I really expect him to step back up here. I think it's a bounce back spot for Scottie. Really buying on this lower ownership, $9,800 price tag for him. Really think it's a great opportunity to buy back on Scottie Scheffler. My third one is Morikawa. Was really high on him last week. Same thing with Rahm, and they kind of screwed me over with both of them sneaking into the top 5. It helped out my lineups, but it's one of those where now their ownership's going to be super, super high. It's one of those things. Morikawa this was like the second tournament where let's pull him up real fast. Second tournament where he kind of snuck into a top spot, like a top 5, top 10. He kind of did the same thing at the Open. He was kind of out of it. Every day he'll go like 3 or 4 under, and you'll be like, oh, he's making a push. He's sneaking up the leaderboard, and then he kind of messes up a hole or 2, drops back down. But he did that at the U.S. Open. He did that at the FedEx St. Jude. But the thing with Colin is he's probably, when his irons are on, the best iron player in the world. And the scary thing with him was, a few months ago, I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago, he came out saying that his iron, I think it was a little baby fade, was not working, and that was his bread and butter. That's what made him like a top player in the world. And when that wasn't working, he came out and said that, that's scary. A lot of people have been off of him. As you can see, he hasn't been that great. Dating back to, was it May? Even before that, at the Zurich, 29th, PGA 55, then 40 at the Charles Schwab, then he misses the cut at Memorial, comes out the U.S. Open, plays well, 5th, and then he gets cut at the Scottish, cut at the Open, and then a top 5 at the FedEx. So his game's all over the place right now. I like buying in on him just because I think he found the ball striking in the irons. You could say that he found that at the Open, and then he went overseas and kind of lost it. So I'm not really scared about that. Overseas kind of messes with these guys, especially when he kind of wasn't having an iffy season, still trying to find his irons. I really like him in this spot. I know his ownership will be up. People will see that top 5 finish and hop on him. His ownership is probably going to be closer to 20, if not more. I'm buying in on it. I think he found his irons. He's usually pretty decent off the tee, which is what you want here at Wilmington, a longer course. And then if his irons are on play, it's game over. He is sometimes, not the best putter. As you can see, he can lose multiple strokes to the field with his putter, but still get you a top 10. So I really like Colin here. Bet on him at top 10, throw him in your fantasy pool. I think it's a solid spot for him. Solid off the tee, approach, one of the best players in the world with his irons. And then if he could find his putter, I think it's a game over. I think it's an easy win for him. But we'll have to see if this is just kind of a mirage of the season. Maybe he misses cut, or if he's going to do well. Actually, I don't think it's a cut this week. I think you just had to get in the top 50, 35, 30. My brain's rattled. So let's move on to the next player. Jordan Spieth. Now, Spieth is surprisingly not getting any love. It's the cheapest he's been in a while. Ownership coming in at 7.1 according to Rick. I know a lot of people are going to be going up to Cam Young. For good reason. He's been fantastic this year. Spieth's kind of been all over the place. People are going to go down to Neiman or Lowry rather than Spieth. So I like buying back on Spieth here at this ownership. Less than 10%. Sign me up for Spieth. I know he's very volatile. He's either going to, get you a top spot, or he's going to miss the cut. As we can see, missed the cut at FedEx St. Jude. Off the tee was bad. Approach was bad. Ball striking terrible. Putter was terrible. And we know with Jordan Spieth, he's, as you can see, there's a lot of red with his putter. Usually he's a fantastic putter. But with kind of this resurgence of Spieth, as we can see, he's been a lot better off the tee, which is very surprising. He won the RBC because he was great off the tee. And he won it even with losing his putter. He got second at the Byron Nelson. Great off the tee. His ball striking was great. Putter was okay. Only getting 1 point, almost 1.5 strokes on the field. PGA, great off the tee, great approach, great ball striking. Lost, almost 3.5 strokes on the field with the putter. That's why he got the 34th. If he could have putt, he probably would have got close to winning it, if not won it. Charles Schwab, top 7. As you can see, off the tee, great. Approach was okay. Around the green is very good. And then putter was okay. And he's got you top 7. So Spieth is kind of all over the board. He's one of those boomer bust guys. Coming off a top 10 at the Open, top 8 at the Championship, he came out, missed the cut at the FedEx. Off the tee, he wasn't good. As you can see, he was terrible at everything. But I think it's kind of a fluke. I'm buying in on just the low ownership. Now, he is, as you can see, and as I said, he is very volatile. He can go out there and just play horrendous and miss the cut again. But I really like him in this. Even if he sprays off the tee, I think Jordan's one of those guys who's great out of the rough. I think he's very good at making those wild pars where he's spraying it all over the course and somehow he makes a par. And with this predictable rough, I think kind of sets up for Jordan, even if he is spraying it, to do decently well. I just like the ownership, how it's so low here. I'm just buying in on the low ownership. So if you don't like the volatility, I'd say stay away from him. But I like the low ownership and the low price on Jordan Spieth, and to get off of chalky Cam Young. And the last pick I have for you guys is Sahith Theegala, 7,300. I don't think he'll be too high owned here in this spot. Rick has him at about 6% ownership, so he should be decently low owned. Not at the best spot here for Sahith. You usually think of him as kind of one of those players that's going to excel at a birdie fest. I don't think this will be too much of a birdie fest. 20 under. You could kind of make the argument as a birdie fest, but with that long rough, Sahith sometimes does struggle off the tee, so it doesn't set up too well for him. But I do like how he can get very hot, kind of string together a good round, and that's kind of why I'm going to Sahith. As you can see, he played last week at the FedEx St. Jude. Got tied for 13th. He was going into the weekend. I think he was in the top 5, top 10, and then really didn't do much Saturday or Sunday. Kind of, fell off, kind of cooled down. But as you can see, he's pretty decent off the tee. 2.6 strokes here at the Memorial. Following week, only 1.5, but then 2.5, almost 3 at the Travelers. Closer to 2 at the John Deere, Open 2. So if he's doing well with the driver, I think it really sets him up, his game, his irons, and being able to putt well. It is a little scary that, he could lose the driver, and that really doesn't set up his putting well. But I just like Sahith for how hot he can get with the putter and how he can really throw out birdies on the board. And with his low ownership in this range, I think he's one of those guys who really doesn't care about the spotlight. He blew up on that one tournament, I think, and lost to Xander. Where is it? Got second at the Travelers. He was playing fantastic. Obviously lost on the last hole, but I think he's got enough spotlight on him to where he's kind of cool, calm, collected now. I think he's going to be able to throw a round together, if not multiple, and really, come out here. I think he's really going to, come out here and try to make the top 30 to get into East Lake next week as a rookie. I know that's what he's shooting for. A lot of these guys in these lower ranges of the 6 and 7Ks are going to be going out and firing because they have to make the top 30 to be able to get to East Lake with their positions of the FedEx Cup. I think, that's his main goal. He's one of those guys that can really, really go out there and get you a ton of birdies and have the chance to make it. So I really like Sahith in the spot. Kind of all over the board right now with his game, but I think he can pull it together and make it to East Lake. And those are my picks for today. Once again, follow me on Twitter at HeartDFS. I'll be putting up the picks on my Twitter. Hit the like the video, subscribe. Do appreciate all the support. I'll be having NFL Thursday Night Football video coming out soon, as well as the prize picks for that video. So once again, we are back. The videos are coming out. I know this one is a little bit of a rough one. Still getting back into the flow of things, getting used to it after the 2-month break. But I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys later. Peace.